as we Libyans and Arabs try and not all Libyans are Arabs, by the way. There are also our brothers, the Amazigh and the Tabu and the Tuareg, you know, are not ethnically Arab. And in this new Libya that goes beyond Arab nationalism, we are trying to find out a sense of Libyanness that is more inclusive, that's a lot more complex, that does not flatten our character into one nationalism or into one ideology or into one way of looking at the world, that we cherish the rich tapestry and the texture of our country. So we're trying to find out who we are. So when we talk about rootedness, I do not mean rootedness only in one's own tradition and only in one way, but I mean rootedness in a complex way, in a way that links up with other people trying to find out their roots, including Europeans. Europeans are also trying to find out their roots. Americans are trying to find out their roots. Why is it important to be rooted? It's the same reason that a seed does not grow on the concrete, although I am always struck by the image of a small green shoot coming out of the concrete. But if you look very carefully, you'll find that it's a crack in the concrete or a pocket where some soil settled. You cannot grow without having roots. As the imagery of the good tree in the Quran, the kalima tayyiba, asluha thabit, it has rootedness, it has a constant root or radical, wa far'uha fi sama, and its branches are in the heavens or in the sky. It is with these two conditions, being rooted but also being open, that you get the third. تؤتي أكلها كل حين. Okay, you get the fruitfulness. So you get the fruitfulness from a combination of rootedness and openness, and you get this fruitfulness not through your own deeds and through your egoistic imposition of will, but بإذن ربها, with the permission of your Lord or its Lord. Because without this إذن رباني, you cannot have anything. This is why it is extremely important when I reflect upon the Libyan spring or springs to realize that it's actually a gift from Allah Azza wa Jal, from God, because really it's nothing short of a karama or of a miracle. In English we say miracle, in Arabic you have to distinguish between karama and mu'jiza. Mu'jiza is only for prophets, karama is for everybody else. But karamatul awliya, mu'jizatul anbiya. The karama is actually derivative of the miraculousness of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know, there is a beautiful phrase that I was reading recently in the Mathnawi al-Arabi al-Nuri of Badi' al-Zaman al-Nursi rahmatullahi alayhi, in which he describes the spring. And I think it's a very good description of the Libyan spring. And he describes the spring as exhibiting the stamp of God, of Allah Azza wa Jal. And he expresses it like this. I will read it in English. I translated it this morning. He says, yes, in this great management of spring, التصرف العظيم الربيعي, he says. Okay. Yes, in this great management of spring, there is a great, sublime and intricate stamp of the Lordship, Rububiyyah, of God. This stamp consists of, and then he has a string of descriptions: ultimate perfection, in ultimate regularity, in ultimate generosity, in ultimate broadness, in ultimate speed, in ultimate excellence, in ultimate intricacy. This stamp is unique to the one who is not prevented by one act from exercising another act, the one from whom nothing is hidden and for whom nothing is difficult. You know, 1 year ago, if I were to describe the atmosphere in Tripoli, when we had coffee in cafes and so on, it was despair. Everyone was so depressed, and everybody despaired of any change. They had waited for over 7 years for Saif al-Islam to make his famous reforms, and these reforms were resulting in a great highway robbery of the whole country. He was basically stealing the money with his colleagues from various companies that were handpicked to steal with him. But there was nothing happening in the country. 7 years the people waited for the reforms. Nothing happened. And there was just despair. And I remember, the way I used to heal my heart of despair, and I used to advise my students in the Ottoman Madrasa in Old Tripoli, which is called Uthman Pasha Madrasa. I used to tell them, you must remember the words of Ahmed Zarruq. Ahmed Zarruq is a great Shadili Sheikh. And he used to say, whenever you despair, remember the verse from the Quran, إِنْ يَشَأْ يُذْهِبْكُمْ وَيَأْتِ بِخَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَزِيزٍ. If he wishes, he will obliterate you and bring a new creation. And this is not difficult for Allah. And it's very important to remember that with God's creativity, there can be no despair. He is the ultimate creator and he can make things happen. You know, just as people felt that there was no way of overcoming this regime, you know, something happened. Something almost like just mind-boggling happened. Young people with nothing in their hands walked to massive camps full of arms, full of mercenaries, and with their bare hands, and as they were shot at with anti-aircraft machine guns, still marched forward to wrench their freedom away from this tyrant. This is not something normal. This has the stamp, the taghurra, as Mursi would say, of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is very much a miraculous act. And it is extremely important as we speak about the Arab Spring, or Arab Springs, or Libyan Springs, not to think that we made it. And unfortunately, we're already seeing some and hearing some voices within Libya of people claiming, on television even, that I made this, I did this, I started the revolution, I am the one who liberated Tripoli, I am the one. And unfortunately, some television channels funded by certain countries, you know, they make certain people seem like the great heroes and forget about other people and so on. This is nonsense. It is nobody's revolution, and it is everybody's revolution, because it is Allah's revolution. And it is because it is a dispersed revolution. It is nothing like central command and control. There was no central command and control in this revolution, not even from the National Council, because even the way the National Transitional Council emerged was a phenomenon of complexity and emergence. It was not a single player determining with design that this should be the case or this other thing should be the case. The whole thing just emerged. And it emerged in a very complex and convoluted manner, in a way that is just mind-boggling.